Hi, my name's Taylor. I'm with the Wide Horizons Nature Program.
And I'm Josie, and I'm also with Wide Horizons Nature Program.
So today we're going to talk to you about grooming habits. So what is grooming?
So grooming is the practice of brushing and cleaning an animal's either fur or their coat. So ways that we groom ourselves is brushing our hair, brushing our teeth, and washing our face. So we're going to be talking to you about how these animals either clean each other or clean themselves.
So the first type of grooming that we're going to talk to you about is personal grooming. So this removes dirt and anything that can harm the animal like parasites, and this is when they do it themselves. So what are parasites?
Parasites are these tiny little bugs that live on or in another animal, either on their skin or in their fur, and it harms them by stealing their nutrients. And nutrients is stuff that we need to stay healthy. So these tiny little parasites take that away from us. So parasites are bad.
Next type of grooming that we're going to talk to you about is social grooming. So social grooming is when the animals clean each other, and this helps build trust and respect within the animals, and it's also used to exchange foods and other activities. And a great example of this is these snow monkeys.
And a little bit more about these snow monkeys is they're native to Japan. So they like to live where it's really cold and snow covers the ground all year round. They can be big or they can be small, and they like to live in a big group of snow monkeys called a troop. And they like to soak in these things called hot springs that are pictured here to kind of calm down and reduce stress.
Social grooming can increase in times of stress or boredom, or just whenever an animal is feeling a different emotion. So a great example of this is a chimpanzee, because they actually tell you what they're thinking with different noises. So they might clack their teeth or make chirping noises or anything like that.
So now we have a little activity, and we're going to be using this Venn diagram. So on one side we have social grooming, one side we have personal grooming, and in the middle we have both. So we're going to show you some pictures and examples of animals that do which kind of grooming.
So the first animal is this chimpanzee. So like we said earlier, they do social grooming.
And now we have a lion, and lions can actually do both personal and social grooming.
The next animal that we have is a chinchilla, and chinchillas actually clean themselves, so they're going to go in the personal grooming category.
And next we have these snow monkeys that we talked about earlier that do social grooming.
Next we have this snake. So snakes actually do personal grooming, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation.
Another animal that does both personal and social grooming is an elephant.
And lastly, we have a bird. So birds actually use personal grooming as well. And a little bit more about that.
Yeah, a little bit more about these birds is they actually love when it rains because they love to use the rain to take a bath, and they like to do this as part of their daily routine. So they like to do it every day.
So now we're going to talk about the grooming of reptiles. So the main way that reptiles clean themselves is they actually shed their skin. So you can see in this picture right here, this snake has this loose skin, and it's probably most likely because he's just eaten, and this is his way of feeling nice and clean.
And now we have the grooming of rodents. So like rats and mice, they have different ways of getting clean. Some of them just use water to take a bath, and others of them get dirty to get clean, which sounds kind of weird, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
So now we're going to talk about animals in captivity. So if anybody has any pets at home, try and think if they ever see your parents either trim your dog or cat's toenails, or if you take them to get cleaned. So we do these things at home to try and mimic or keep what they would see in the wild as similar as what they are with us. So we do this to help them feel safe and comfortable when they're with us.
And coming back to that getting dirty to get clean, some animals actually use dust to take baths, and this helps protect their skin and protect their coat from the sun. So an example of an animal that takes a dust bath is an elephant.
So think about this. If anybody has to wear sunscreen when they go out in the summer, this elephant throwing dust on his back, he's actually putting his sunscreen on. This is how he protects his skin from the sun.
Another example of an animal that takes a dust bath is a chinchilla.
So you might ask why an animal like a chinchilla takes a dust bath, because it does sound pretty weird. So the main reason that chinchillas take dust baths is actually to protect their coat, and they have a really unique fur. So chinchillas have their thick fur coat for the cold temperature where they're from, and it also helps keep out those parasites that we talked about earlier. It's so thick that the parasites can't get to the chinchilla's fur, and they actually have the thickest fur of all animals and land animals, which is a pretty cool fact about them. So this is where they're from, this red area right here. This is Chile in South America, and they live up in the mountains where it's cold all year round.
And a little bit more about chinchillas is there are two kinds. There are long and short-tailed chinchillas. And if you own them as a pet, they'll usually live 15 to 20 years, but in the wild, they'll usually live 10 to 14. And they're nocturnal, which means they like to sleep during the day and they're more active and awake at night. So it makes it kind of hard for them to see since they aren't used to the daylight. So that's why they have these whiskers to help them feel around and feel what's around them.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching our presentation, and we hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Oh, see ya.
Stop recording.
When says this.